for maybe 2,000 years to understand the universe around us at its deepest level, we are striving to take that one baby step further.
Matter finely tuned to support life. Photons of light that communicate instantly across vast distances. Tiny musical strings that hold the universe together. And the very fact that we're conscious at all. These are a few examples of the wonders that fill our universe and point us toward the divine. When we come back, we'll talk to the principal research physicist at Princeton University's Plasma Physics Laboratory. We'll talk to him about his views on physics, the universe, and God. Dr. Robert Kite is the principal research physicist at Princeton University's Plasma Physics Laboratory. He teaches in the Department of Astrophysical Sciences and is the author of more than 200 publications in nuclear and plasma physics. Dr. Kite is a member of the Association for the Advancement of Science, the American Physical Society, and the American Scientific Affiliation. Bob, it's a treat to have you on our show. I want to cut right to the chase, because the moment I see those words, plasma and physics, I'm thinking, the man must be a blood doctor. But it has nothing to do with blood. What in the world is the juxtaposition of those two words? How do you get a career called plasma physicist?
That's a really good question. The study of plasmas is a study of the so-called fourth state of matter. People are familiar with solids, liquids, and gases. But when you make these gases really hot, like you find in the center of stars, you have a state called the plasma.
Do we have the fourth state of matter on Earth here?
Actually, you do. You find them in fluorescent light bulbs.
Okay.
This is a very pervasive state of the matter that actually constitutes most of the universe. And it's a fascinating area of study for me.
What's hot right now in plasma physics?
One of the exciting things about plasma physicists and the plasma physics we do is that there is an application. We know all about stars, and we're beginning to understand a lot more about how they work. And what if you could harness that energy here on Earth? That would be a marvelous energy source. And so this whole area of controlled nuclear fusion that involves plasma physics is what we do in this laboratory. We're trying to harness that energy as an energy source.
Now, when you say harness it, this isn't cold, what do they call that?
The cold fusion?
Yeah, cold fusion.
No, I'm afraid it would be great if you would be able to put fusion in a bottle like that, but this is very much hot fusion.
Okay. Now, you're a scientist working with empirical evidence and research. I want to ask you a question about human beings in general. When we encounter evidence, how do our presuppositions interface with our interpretation of research, of evidence?
I think the best way to address that question is to go back to what motivated the earliest scientists when they decided to start this endeavor that we call modern science. A lot of them, in fact all of them that we know of in the Western world, had this presupposition.
You're talking about like Isaac Newton, Galileo?
Yeah, Galileo and these guys. You look at their writings.
All right.
And it's rife with references to the Creator that for them, wrote the Bible, the book of laws, but it was also then, by what was written in that book, the creator of nature, the book of nature.
Can you really take what those presuppositions they live with and really validate them anymore?
Absolutely, because if you say that those presuppositions were no good, then what's the rationality for actually doing the science? What is the rational basis for doing the science? You see, their presuppositions were that there was a God who set down these laws of nature that then made the universe comprehensible. So now, what are you going to say? The universe is not comprehensible? Essentially, a lot of people have things backwards. It's not that you need God first to make the universe comprehensible to you as a rational thing to do.
You looked at the evidence. For you, as a dispassionate scientist, what was it that said, that's the piece that does it for me?
I would have to say that the piece that does it for me is the fact that I could be a physicist, that I could do physics, that there are these finite number of laws, that there are 92 elements in the universe, no more nor no less, no matter where we look, down here on Earth or into the sky. Mm-hmm. That then there's electricity, magnetism, gravitation, that there are these laws that seem to be finite but describe a whole slew of phenomena. That has to be, at least for me, some compelling evidence for a designer, a mind that then says that I want to be known and I've created a universe that's understandable and makes the pursuit of science rational.
I can look at those same laws and you accord me the freedom to say, I just don't, we got the laws, but that doesn't it's not ipso facto, it's not automatic, therefore, that we have a designer. And I can be a practicing, effective, successful scientist, obviously.
You obviously can, from the point of view of methodology. But as a human being, do you want to end it there? Do you want to
What do you mean end it?
end it there in the sense of not asking the question, then why is it the way it is? This is the question that I believe baffled great minds like Albert Einstein, who asked the question. The most, or made the statement, something to the effect that the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're willing to forget about these kinds of questions, then fine. You're welcome to then forget about them and look, in my work, 90% of the time I worry about, or maybe close to 100% of the time, I worry about more prosaic things having to do with the doing of science.
Mm-hmm.
But when I ask those questions, I have to come up with an answer, and I choose to have the answer that then admits to the designer.
Bob, thanks for being with us on The Evidence.
Really my pleasure.
What do you think about The Evidence? Let us know by visiting our website, interactive website. You can find it at www.theevidence.org. That's O-R-G. We'll be back in just a moment with some closing thoughts. A startling transformation is taking place in Western scientific and intellectual thought. Recent discoveries in physics and other fields paint a radically new picture of the universe and humanity's place within it. Central is this dawning realization that the cosmos, far from being a sea of chaos, appears instead to be intricately and finely tuned. In fact, interestingly enough, some of the latest discoveries in physics and astronomy suggest that the universe is actually a friendly place. In other words, it's a place designed for life. Things fit together much more than they fall apart. The evidence clearly supports the view that God cares, that the universe is ordered to our benefit. This wondrous universe is a gift of beauty. It's a marvel of order, and it's our home. That's what I think. I'm Dwight Nelson. Join us next time for more of The Evidence.